Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. Always appreciate you all. Feel free to type into the chat where you're listening live from or listening in the replay. Always appreciate that. We got a bunch of listeners that listen in from all over different parts of the world. Whether it's Canada, whether it's Australia, whether it's New Zealand, many different countries. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Today's episode is the Vault 326, Age of Information Overload. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. All the listeners, as you all know, we do the trustee, the we do these episodes for the trustees, ladies and gentlemen. We do these for the trustees. So we're just going to go ahead and hop straight into it. This is the Vault episode 326, Age of Information Overload. So let's just go ahead and start with it. Age of Information Overload is what we've had trustees come to us. Appreciate Mississippi for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate Mississippi for tuning in live, listening to replay. Age of Information Overload is an episode that talks about what trustees have said for years. Oh, Christian, trust Christian. I'm overwhelmed by the trust information. I'm moving so fast, and the trust information you're guiding me, but I don't know all the steps that I'm taking, 'cause it's moving so fast. Age information overload. I got all this information coming at me. You've helped me narrow my focus in the private. You've helped me narrow my focus in the private. Appreciate Daniel Beach for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate Daniel Beach for tuning in live, listening to replay. It's interesting that, we've had people go through our program, people come to our workshops, and you end up building that relationship. So, Ron Newby, you know who you are. Feel free to email over to Vault your number. We've been wanting to get in contact with you. Ron Newby, feel free to reach out and, you know, reach out to us with your number. So, age information overload. People say, "Oh, I'm overwhelmed, trust Christian. It's all of these steps. I'm moving so fast. You know, can you record the lessons?" Age and information overload. Is it that you need repeat? Sure, we make sure that trustees have things on repeat, but that's the episodes. The episodes now are to say, hey, here's a part of continuing education. It's not an episode every day. It's just conversation to have for the trustees to say, okay, if you say you feel overwhelmed, age of information overload, what are you overwhelmed by? Well, it's so much to learn, trust Christian. It's real estate law, it's property law, it's contract law, it's comparative law, it's jurisdictional law. Is what do we need to know? Where do we start? We got to get a law degree. And that's what we went to one of the mentors, and one of the mentors shared with us you should go. And we've had trustees go through the program and go to law school because it encourages trustees to become more of a more tidied uh, mind behind an estate. The age of information overload. Oh, where do I start, Trust Christian? Oh, I'm trying to get the private information. Where do I start? Getting a consultation with the vault is Christian at trustchristian.com. The email to get in contact with the vault is Christian at trustchristian.com. So we appreciate, people that reach out, get the consultations. Many people have started their businesses because of the vault. We had a trustee say to us recently, "Oh, I'm starting a business when? Tomorrow." Because they said this is all new. It's the age of information overload. It's all new. Well, I'm going from an employee most of my life to being an entrepreneur investor. That means I got to figure out a skill or a trade now. A skill or a trade. You got to figure it out. Oh, I got to figure something else out. That's all you got to do is figure something else out. But it's the age of information overload. People say, oh, there's so much information out here. Where do I start? That's the first question they're going to ask. Okay, we got that out the way. Where does it start? Where are you going? We ask the trustees, where are you going? Some people are more aggressive than others. The age of information implies that there's so much information out here that people are overwhelmed. So let's just go ahead and give you what the trustees get in the private sector, the stories where one of the mentors said, it seems you're a little enamored with this information. You might want to give it up. Now you would think enamored means a bad thing, colloquially, because of the way it sounds, the tone of the word, as they say. But the definition, overwhelmed. Are you overwhelmed? Are you overwhelmed with information about protecting your family estate? Oh wow! I want to. Here we go. Here's the famous line when they get on the vault with the constellation. Oh, trust Christian, I'm looking to be like you. Oh, nothing control everything. Oh, really? What happens when you're walking down the street one day and you realize, wow, you don't own anything and you can't be sued because you don't own anything? When you embody that. But the age of information overload says, oh no, trust Christian in the vault. You know, putting out any money is flabbergasting. Really? Putting out any money? The age of information overload. Well, I don't know where to start in the investing realm. Isn't that what they say? I don't know where to start in the business realm. Where do I start? The first passion. The one that you're going to go after like you need air right now. Are you willing to have a business fail or two? The age of information overload says, how do we know that these big celebrities that get behind these stocks and these companies, they're not lying? How do you know? Because you stay away from them. You don't bother with them. When they're public information, it means it's already down the chute. That means the people on the opposite side are using the new people, the new buyers, for liquidity. The information overload says, oh no, this is new information. Guess what? On the private side, that's old information. We knew that was going to happen. We can see that because we're reading the accurate information. Private is synonymous with accurate. Whereas when you go into public, you're allowed to be given propaganda. You're allowed to be giving misinformation. You're allowed to be given disinformation. You're allowed to be given this. You're allowed to be given that. You're giving everything is to do what? Here you go. You ready? Get your number one thing, your most precious thing, your time and your attention. How do you stay focused? Trust Christian, there's so much information out here on the private. Trust Christian, where are you at in the journey for the private studies? Are you still going at it hard or are you pulling back like a champ? No, I'm still going hard. We're still going hard at the vault. We still have to perform workshops for the trustees so the trustees can be in an environment together. That's what it encourages. So it's no need to say, well, where's the outside information? We have butts glued to seats for 8 hours. You got bathroom breaks, you get coffee breaks, and you come back and you sit down, you get the information, and you move about in your life. It's a training class. That's what it is. The one-day workshops are training classes. It's something we could do with one family, but instead we choose to do it with multiple families. Because families, people in trust like to deal with people in trust. Some people say, oh, well, what if I'm not in that position? Can I still come? And then we've allowed it for years. And when it gets to the point where it's a total lockout, because you're going to $600 plate galas, what are you going to do? $1,000 plate galas. The age of information overload said there's so much information. Where do you start? And the first thing we say is you got to get a mentor. You got to lock in. Appreciate West Palm for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate West Palm for tuning in live, listening to replay. The age of information overload. You got the cell phone in your hand. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it how we see it. It's already somebody's microchip. You don't need to worry about them putting a microchip in your arm. You have it in your hand almost 24/7. Detachment is the key to victory at this point. People want their entire life teched out. The age of information overload says, how are you overloaded when you don't remember cell phone numbers? How are you overloaded when you're not going to have to worry about how many groceries you have because they're being scanned in and out of your refrigerator? The technology. How are you overloaded and now you don't have to worry about driving because they have autonomous vehicles? How are you overloaded? But there's a dichotomy. They tell you that you're overloaded and you perceive it. The media and the public says it's overload. And the private says there's more money than deals. Are you bringing deals to the players? Are you partnering with deals with the players? Deals are getting done right now. We're getting ready to go on what they call another dark winter. Why? Because they say that the market's getting ready to release foreclosures onto the market. So we hear information overload. Oh, the market's going to hold strong because the stimulus is going to be there. That's what they say now. That's what they say now. The information overload is more than one angle of battle. It's more than one. It's multiple dimensions. People say, oh, is it just the cell phone that's overloading me? We wouldn't limit it to the cell phone. Just be aware of that, though. The age of information overload, when we get into trusteeship, everybody says, where's the book, Trust Christian? Give us the trust book. Give us the book. We need the book. And when we sit in front of the mentor and we ask the mentor for a test, a simple test, he says, there is no test. Just live in trusteeship. Why does it have to be that simple? Or maybe people want it to be that complicated, where it has to be a book. It has to be a 500-page book, a 1,000-page book. It doesn't have to be that. Does it have to be an 800-page book? And think about it, we're in the age of information. People are selling information. They're selling the information because it's just getting to the public. Or is it? Now we see where the information is at. Where's the information at? Right in front of your hands. It's so much at your fingertips. The convenience of protecting your family estate from one generation to the next, it's like buying McDonald's. You can drive up 24/7, contact a lawyer through the internet and say, hey, anybody, well, this guy says he can help me protect the family estate. This lady says she can help me protect the family estate. Isn't it being sold that way? In our sector, people have private workshops. That's the facts. They have huge conferences. They have galas. They're in charity. The information overload says, oh, you're going to get it all through the internet. Oh, really? You're going to get all the information through the internet now? Not at all. The age of information overload. Everybody's got a marketing tactic. You've seen the vault. Keep it simple, keep it basic. You got the vault. We have the workshops. We have trustees. We have people type in live into the chat. It's real. It's not unreal. It's real. Whether people want it to be real or not, it's real. So since we're real with the vault and the listeners, then we're in the age of reality here, not just the age of information. We're in the age of facts over here. So when you do research information, you got to research what's a fact. See, facts deal with precedent in our sector. We're talking about facts in the private sector. Once again, a fact is there's more money than deals. But how many people are going out and asking for the money? Is this true? We had a foreigner, someone that was of foreign descent. They said that Americans are almost shameful for asking for money, even on a personal level. So why in the business age, the information age, are people what? They feel like they lack the capital. Think about it. There's a difference between a Harvard education and a community college. It's specific information you're looking to acquire. The age of information says you can go to either school or you can go to an online school or you can do whatever you want. But the age of information says we're to learn. We're to learn, not to be overwhelmed. When someone says to us, hey, Trust Christian, I might be a little overwhelmed by things. Well, if you're overwhelmed by things, go lay down. And guess what? The individual that said that they were overwhelmed recently said that they needed to meditate. I said, well, how you think you're going to solve that? They said, well, we needed to go meditate. Exactly. You need to go sit down in silence, in quiet. Because you're in the age of information overload. So you got to get quiet with the information. The information can't come in anymore. You're not taking any more information in. Now you got to sit there with the information. Now you got to sit there with the information. You got to ponder it. You got to meditate on it. What does it mean to sit there and meditate? Just let the information play with the thought of what you're doing with the information. Don't you have a vision for the information? People do have a vision for the information. Quite a few people have visions for their information, their families. Ladies and gentlemen, trustees and the like, people that listen to the vault that know this channel. This is the Achilles heel of mediocrity. This is the Achilles heel of a failure. Is to allow themselves to be under the auspice of an overload, the auspice of being overwhelmed. We have to sit with the information. Sometimes it may take you weeks to go through information, ladies and gentlemen. This is your diligence. You're investigating before you invest. Many people out there appreciate Cassandra Jackson for tuning in live, listening to replay. Says huge shout out to Trust Christian. The channel allows listeners to play the show in the background while still being able to engage in apps on their phones. Mad love. Appreciate Cassandra Jackson for tuning in live, listening to replay. Once again, it's the Vault, episode 326, Age of Information, Christian Information Overload. Feel free to type into the chat where you're listening live, listening to replay from. We had to do this episode because so many people throughout the years, they get stuck. Where do they get stuck? Because they can't digest the information. We're not going to go there and chew out people today, but we're just going to let you know that if the information's too much for you, you might want to lighten up on the heavy foods and get a little bit lighter so your megahertz can process the information that's coming at you. Now, let's be practical here, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving further into the information age. Do you think it's going to come at you faster or slower? So if you already know it might come at you a little bit faster, you have to learn your limits, your gauges, your areas and your strengths. What are you good at? Some people say, "Oh, Trust Christian, do a time management course. Do a time management course. We always want people to do time management courses." We're not doing a time management course. Let's learn how to manage tasks first. You know how many hours a day you're going to be willing to wake up early and go to sleep? You time it out every hour on the hour. Age and information overload says, "Oh, I'm not going to keep track of my time." Why? Because you're wasting it for the ones that are. But for the ones that are saying, "Look, we want to improve our ways," keeping track of your time is definitely a wise decision. Why? Because it gauges information overload. It allows you to not be into one thing too long. You can say, "Oh, I got some things I got to do. I got a time frame. I got the time. I got the time to do that. I got it." What happens when you're on the hour every hour? Now, see, many people work a job, but the ones that don't, this is your next level quantum leap jump. It's making sure that you can get your time multiplied, where you can put the money to work for you, where you can put people to work for you. Information overload says you gotta stay under the worker. Be mentality, right? Whereas the free mind, the free mind says we employ. The free mind says we give, we serve, we build. That's what the free mind says. The free mind is not overwhelmed. They put everything into a time slot when you're organized with your time. Trust Christian, it sounds like it's a lot to do. It sounds like it's a lot to do to keep track of your own time. Think about how much you want to be worth in a day. If you know how much you want to be worth in a day, calculate that down to the hours, and now you got to do something to get that done. But the information overload says, "Oh no, there's no way you could do that." Right? It's negative because they're overwhelmed. They're scanning, they're scrolling, they're swiping. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's all who's vying for your attention. Just know that Trust Christian in the Vault, we've done our part. We have over 300 episodes of content. We have people come into the program and say they listen to every episode. How do you do that? We don't even know at this point. But when you have people that say that they studied your game like you were Michael Jordan, like they studied your game, we say, "Okay, we oblige." Appreciate the DMV for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate the DMV for tuning in live, listening to replay. People, they didn't want to be students of their teachers, of their masters. Why not? The content has to come from a master because you need the master so you can be the student. When a student's ready, the teacher appears. When a student's ready, the teacher appears. The student is ready and the teacher appeared, and then people say, "Oh no, teacher, there's a lot of homework." "Oh no, teacher, I gotta get my weight up," as they say from the street. "I gotta get my weight up. I gotta change." Trust Christian, don't tell me I gotta keep track of my time. Don't tell me I gotta get out of my comfort zone. Don't tell me that. What happens when you're competing against the ones that are second generation and third generation? We've already butted the first gens through the vault. So what happens when your family is competing against other people's first and second generations? It's about being an impact player. Let's just say this, ladies and gentlemen. The information overload. We were talking to one of our coaches the other day, and he said, "Hey, this wealthy lady I know, she actually very well off actually." He said, she actually has. He just wanted to point out that wealthy people's habits are just different. I don't know. I don't. Trust Christian involved. We're not doing TV over here. We're not doing TV. But he pointed out. He said, well, did you know that this wealthy lady doesn't even have more than two TVs in her house? She has this huge house. She doesn't have more than two TVs in her house, and they're less than 15 inches. Now, it's not to say that she doesn't have a theater. For everybody that has the dream that they want the theater in their house, you can have the theater in your house. We're not saying no theater. We said TVs. We're talking about the abominable TV man. It's sort of like your cell phone. It was the first thing to get the last generation. The last generation, they were given ads. They were given soap operas. They were given ads. They were given advertising. Age of Information says, Age of Information Overload, we're not going to hit you with ads on TV. They left the TV and went to where? The cell phone. They hit you with more ads. People are paying for ad revenue now. The largest company on the internet in the States, which is Google, makes 75% of its revenue off of ads, off of marketing. But I thought it was a search engine. Ads, ad revenue, but billions. Ad revenue. The age of information overload. How you gonna play this out? We just seen the wealth transfer happen. You heard it from the vault. We called the foreclosure market. You know about the foreclosure market. We're calling one of the markets. It's not the with financial advice. It's not legal advice. It's just calling the market. We've always done it at the vault. We got to make sure that there's precedent understood that the market is shifting. It's just the facts. The market is shifting. People thought they could defer commercial businesses, not just homes. Someone typed in AOL. Is that AOL? Don't know all of those tickers, but they're putting tickers in, which are probably marketing companies. So into the chat. The age of information overload. See, the age of information overload says people want things given to them. What happened to working and earning it? What makes you think you're going to earn a six-figure income and not have to work? But they've been painted this picture. Oh, you can sit back and drink tea, sit on the beach in Bali, have a big TV. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in the private sector. They're pretty much wearing shirts and ties, skirts and heels, business attire. I mean, if you're sitting around people that are, even well off and they're sitting in pants, sitting in slacks, sitting in a button down shirt or t shirt, that's perfectly fine. But, ladies and gentlemen, finding more and more wealthier people is becoming thinner and thinner. It's more poor people than it is wealthy people. So, how do you get around these people in the age of information overload? How do you get over it? It's called focusing. Focusing on your goals and dreams. We recently heard someone say, oh, you got to build the network. Well, okay, you build the network. Ladies and gentlemen, you gotta be prepared as an American. If you're an American, you almost got an A class, halfway education in the States compared, with literacy and getting around the world. So if you have a decent education in the States, everybody does it. You get a decent, you could go to most countries and dominate. You can win because you have a basic, you have an aggressiveness that Americans have, and there's only a few other countries that have this level of aggressiveness. The age of information says there's cultural differences. So you got to be aware of culture. The world is the American's oyster if you make it so. If not, guess what's happening right now? You got Russia buying up Miami. You got Germans buying up Miami. You have South Americans buying up Miami and Florida. This is what's going on. You got China pretty much buying Southern California, Northern California. Oh, this is an undertone. It's the reality. Venezuelan investors are invested in Florida. This is an old time fact. They're still not going to talk about it. Why? Because that's who's holding those areas up. Information overload? What are the what are considered average jobs nowadays? What are considered average jobs? People are doing Uber, Lyft, they're doing Postmates, they're doing Amazon. We're not endorsing any of these companies. We're talking about the big name players. If you Google them on this date of the 20th of September 2021, you'll see that these are some of the major players in the States that are employing people through contract work. Thousands. Essentially holding up an economy through a website. Because if the website goes down and anything goes down, these people with the click of a button don't have a skill or trade other than delivering groceries, other than delivering products, being delivery people, doing what the robots are at one point going to get track of this. Because the technology is so advanced right now, they have all the data that they need. They just needed to see how fast you were going to do the job. So now they can replace you. Because they want to lower human consumption of work and increase efficiency. Right? They want to get rid of the overload. Right. Yeah, we had to remove somebody from the chat, ladies and gentlemen, because somebody wants to distract the chat. So we got to get people out of here. We don't need goofballs. So, age of information overload. That's what happens. It's every second of the day somebody trying to get your attention and distract you. And you got to control your time. As the Southerners say, you don't want to be preaching to the choir. Well, trustees, you know the 9-minute rule. Employ your 9-minute rule. Take care. Make it a point to understand that The journey of 1,000 steps starts with the first one. Someone came to us the other day and said they were overwhelmed, and we told them that. They said they were going to hunker down. But who are they hunkering down to? Who are they going to be accountable to? Themselves. Now, everybody says they need a little bit of motivation, but that's external. Now, if you need a little bit of fire under your flame, you got to have a fire, though. If you need a little fire under your flame, but do people have fire? Do they even have a dream that's burning inside of them that they got to get out? Many do. So let's do something every day for it. For that one particular goal, that one particular dream. That's what you got to do. Age information overload says you got to slow down and speed up. Slow down. What they say? Smell the roses. You got to slow down and smell the roses. Boy, have we not done enough of that in life. Somebody asked us the other day, they said, what do you think of this review that we did on your life? I said to him, I don't think it accurately reflects my roses well enough. It doesn't reflect my success well enough. But when you look back at it, you know you've had a lot of roses in your life. You've had those moments where you could smell the roses. You know you've earned those moments where you could smell the roses. You've earned them. You know, starting the vault has been a smell the roses moment the whole time. You know, whether you guys know it or not, you know, the long time listeners, you know, we've smelled the roses because we met quite a few of you at the workshops. You know, those things are real. You know, when we do the workshops and, you know, people show up and people show up multiple times and people take the information and they run with it, you know, that's what happens, you know, is people, they do business, you know, people have lives, but people still want to, you know, connect with people. Sometimes it's not about the information. Sometimes it's about the relationship. When you get the relationship, you're going to have the information. But the age of information overload says focus on the information. Be an information junkie. Oh, I just need to get all the information. I'm gonna pay for all the information. I'm gonna have all the information, and then you got all the information, and then you didn't do anything with it because you're overloaded. And then you get in the program with Trust Christian, and we're going step by step by step by step by step by step by step. And you're like, oh man, I'm actually moving. Trust Christian, I'm 25,000 feet off the ground. Yeah, that's where we are right now. I mean, you know, you said you wanted to be in privacy. So, I mean, this is where you have private aircrafts, right? You want to be in a private sector, that's where the private aircrafts are. They have the public air buses, then they have private aircrafts. That's what you said, right? You wanted to be in the private, right? You going private, right? Oh no, Trust Christian. I mean, I don't mind riding coach. Is that what you're saying? Information overload may give you the limiting mentality that says, oh, we all can't have a private jet. Well, hey, that's your limiting belief. Age information overload, though, says, if you're going private, private jet. Oh, okay, Trust Christian. I didn't think about it like that. You know, I was just thinking about going private because I just need to go private. I got to protect the family estate. But how we going to get around in the air? You know, that's private because you know we could just go when we want to go. That's private. That's control. You control assets. You control an airplane, a jet, for a period of time, whether it's fractionalized or whether it's through true ownership. The age of information overload. Boy, oh boy, are so many overloaded. And what do you think the ones of us that aren't overloaded are going to do? You think we're going to take that lightly? You think we're going to allow that to be around us? Will you think your mentors are going to allow people to be overwhelmed? No, they're going to find people that want to become competent, that are going to get in the trenches, as they say, to dig their heels in and go back to studying and showing not self-approve. They're going to hit the books. They're going to come with conversation because it's about the relationship. It's not about the information. And we see this once again. We got a mentor right now that he knows there's people over the internet plagiarizing his information. And boy, oh boy, if we could tell him who one of the people were, he would fry them like Sunday's morning dinner, Sunday morning breakfast. They would be fried up on a skillet. They would be fried. They would wonder if this person made a phone call to high powerful people. Because that's what might happen. But if not, there will be a quick cease and desist. And after that, it's barbecue. But oh no, no, no. We live in this age of information overload where you got people out here that think that, hey, I'm going to just do the information route. I'm not going to focus on the relationship. We hear the message, but we have the ties. Let's just say that. We have the ties. So you guys can figure out how to create those ties. It's not something you can buy either. It's not something you can buy. It's something you earn. The age of information says focus on the information. Don't focus on the heart. Don't focus on a relationship. Why not? Give and you shall receive. You hear the old age law, and then what happens? Well, I got burned a few times, man. I got burned a few times. Yeah, don't touch the stove there anymore. The age of information overload says we got to learn from the mistakes. Learn while doing. That's the new law. Learn while doing. Not just, oh, I'm going to sit here and read a book. You think if it was that easy, everybody that read the book would have all the same results. They don't. Because it's not about the book. It's about how you interpret the book. It's about what you do with the information in the book. That's where we are. We're in the age of back to doing. You got to do what you see and read to verify the quality of the information. It's like the scientific method. You got to see if it's a hypothesis and if it's going to come out accurate or not. But here we go. The age of information overload, it's not just the information on the internet. It's not just the advertisements. It's the relationships that you may have. The age of information overload allows people to contact you at an inordinate amount of time. Anytime. Because it's instant message. It's instant call. It's instant. And the age of information overload says that's how you go down. You got to control your time. You got to control who's going to be able to get on your calendar, who's not. This is the information overload rules. You're either going to play by the rules or you're going to get run over. This isn't hard, ladies and gentlemen. This is the easy game. You don't even have to remember people's cell phone number. Of course, life's easy. Think about that. You don't have to remember people's email if you don't want to. You don't have to remember information about people. You can just save it to a device. You never have to remember that information. How powerful is that? Now you're saving your space in your mind for more important matters, like learning specific laws if you choose to, because now you can know the laws of the natural world as well as the world that you're in. We can learn those laws now. Oh man, Trust Christian, I wasn't taught how to play the game. My family didn't teach me how to pass along generational wealth. So I'm looking to learn how to have generational wealth through the vault and through the trustee training. Will I get learning how to pass along wealth from one generation to the next in the program. Yes, it's introductory for introductory first gens and as well a continuation for any second gen because we go over management skills. Management skills are the most important thing in any business venture or any type of family management system, and that deals with behaviors. Of course, we deal with strengths and weaknesses. The trustees know, and the trustees have to know, you can't deal with your weaknesses. You can't deal with them. I was, I was sitting here looking at something earlier today, and I'm actually looking at the weakness. How are you going to fix something that's weak? You got to focus on your strengths and find people to counteract your weaknesses. How do they counteract your weaknesses? How do they help you with your weaknesses? This is where the universe has said you owe these people, bring these people into your life and allow them to help you. They might rub you the wrong way. These are those relationships that might rub you the wrong way. The age of information overload, the relationships, the time that it takes to build relationships. People are so used to relationships through just the internet. Now you have the age of still where you have to build face-to-face relationships. So many times people say, "Oh, Trust Christian, what about the trading information and listening to the financial information? Where are we going to go with the financial information? Where do we get our financial information from? If we can't get it from the public media because we know it's not real." Okay, well, let's go here. Let's go there. It's the age of information overload. So that means you're going to have to do the private research. The private research are facts. What did we say in the beginning? The private is the facts. You got to go to surveys for different things. Surveys are reality. They're a group of people that did a survey, real. Just like people are listening to the vault in real time right now and listening to replay, there are people that are going to be listening. There are people that do surveys. So you have to go and do your best to find credible sources that have longevity, things of that nature, and move in that fashion. Well, what are these organizations? Well, we talk to our trustees about that. We just want to put y'all on notice, especially in the public, because, ladies and gentlemen, if you have information and you don't know what to do with it, it's all for naught. It's a waste of information. If you have information and you don't know what to do with it, it's all for naught. Think about how many we get people literally that contact us that says, "Oh, this person told me, well, why are you in trusteeship if you don't have the money?" Did you hear what they said? They didn't say you didn't have the information. They said, "Why are you in trusteeship and you don't have $1 million? If you don't have $1 million to manage." Let's say that again. Why are you in trusteeship if you don't have $1 million or $500,000 or whatever? Because we're in the age of information overload. The idiot that you're talking to clearly doesn't know asset protection comes before asset growth. How can you preserve asset? You're not even in the correct entities. You're not in the correct structures. You're not in the correct position to receive wealth. Trust Christian. Know nothing, control everything. Appreciate Antioch, Pittsburgh, California for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate Antioch, California for tuning in live, listening to replay. The age of information overload. Boy, are we here. And boy, are people crunch for it. And they look, they feel that they have these medical things, medical determinations that don't allow them so they can't focus. But what happens when you're passionate about something and you love something? Aren't you pretty focused on that? But oh no, George Christian, am I supposed to make money off my passions and my loves and my hobbies? Yeah. At one point, you're going to fall in love with it. If you haven't already fall in love with it, if you start making some money off it, you might fall in more love with it. But oh no, Trust Christian, I don't know how much to charge. I don't know how much. Here we go. We had to explain this to someone the other day. It's really simple. You got to charge market rate. People out here trying to charge 3 and 4 and 5 times off from the beginning, thinking they a big dog. You're not a big dog. Charge market rate. If you're doing it through the correct business anyways, it's business money. It's not personal money. So it's taxed differently. That's not tax advice. That's you talking to your tax advisor, talking to these people and saying, hey, is taxes different in personal and business? Yes, of course. Well, that's what we're talking about. But oh no, age information overload. I don't know how to handle all this information, Trust Christian. I don't know where to start. I gotta figure out a date I'm gonna start the business. And then I gotta figure out what I'm gonna really start doing after I get off work. That I'm gonna run through the business. See, the vault, we just gonna go ahead out and write and say it. There's people that came through the vault. Their family members came to a workshop. They took the trading course. They took the trading course. They were a math they were a math teacher with students. It's been about 2 years now. They first year they said we quit, and after the first year they didn't do it after the first year. The second year, which is this past whatever June, whatever date it was that school just ended for whatever middle school, whatever elementary school, whatever. This individual gone through tumultuous situation. He's taken the emotional beating that everyone you gotta take it. He's taken it. It's a fact. He's taken it. He actually lost his mother. We'll go ahead and say that much because when you lose your mother, we can go ahead and say, yeah, that requires mourning. And in 2 years of getting the information, within 2 years of getting the information from a family member that took the faith and came over to the vault and got the information. 2 years of them getting the information. Math teacher probably had it easier with the trading because they're a math teacher. Learned it in 2 years. Said they will never work a job ever again. They learn how to make the daily amount of money. Individuals definitely very critical of themselves, which is a good thing. Sometimes being critical of yourself, especially when you're inside of the bubble. He's inside of the bubble. We're inside of the bubble. You're in the bubble when it's playoffs for your life right now. It's playoffs where you're learning a new skill set, where you're looking to transform your life into a different direction. So it's definitely important to see that. 2 years. This man was in the bubble. You talking about spending weekends in. No weekends out. Oh no, he's less than 35. So now he's financially independent at less than 35. That's one. Okay, how many more lives do you need for us to change? Because they were willing to put in the work. We didn't say, hey, we're going to sit over at your house and hold your hand every night. They did have a family member that they had someone to be accountable and hold them in the bubble long enough to crack the staff on the rock and get water. And now they could drink forever because they have a skill. Oh, you don't think that trading is a skill? It's a skill. We told him, hey, look, just develop a track record for the next 2 years, actually. You can go work for any Fortune 500 or you can get money from any major Fortune, anyone that has over $1 million, anyone that has over $10 million. They're willing to give you at least 10% of their portfolio. They're willing to give you 1% of their portfolio. They're willing to see what you can do with $100,000. They're looking to see what you can do with $1 million for sure. Especially someone that makes that has multiple assets, $100 million people, $50 million people for sure. We know about this. The age of information overload says, oh no, it's more money than deals. It is more money than deals. So how are you going to get the money? Well, you got to get a skill. Didn't we just say that this individual just developed a skill? We came in, we spoke out, we gave them the information that they needed because they invested in themselves. You got to invest in yourself. They invested in themselves. But guess what? Yeah, this is where most people don't get this one. Under 35, young man, built a relationship. They locked in with the relationship. They were thirsty for the relationship. They valued the relationship. They have honor for the relationship. That's what happens. The age of information overload says we know trustees that all look like they're overloaded. But guess what? These are the ones that are moving forward. These are the ones that are making progress. When we talk to them weeks later, months later, days later, we just say weeks later, months later, they have progress. They're moving forward, not just in a financial sense, but a skill set sense. What is the skill set that you are working on? Skills pay bills. We have an episode. Skills pay bills. Skills pay bills. The age of information overload says, oh, you don't have to be skillful at anything, but that's not true. You got to be skillful. You got to have skills because skills pay bills. Multiple skills helps. We're in the age of multiple skills. Did you know that? This is why most people, this is a statistic, you can Google it, that most people, they say, even with college degrees, they'll have at least 3 to 5 different careers. Even with one degree, they'll still have 3 to 5 careers. Think about it. People have 3 to 5 careers in their life. So why aren't you prepared to say, I am going to focus on having multiple interests and generate wealth for family? Because it sounds easier said than done. People sit at dinner and they're on the phone texting in front of each other, scrolling. Because people want to fill the dead air in space. Because they're in the age of what's called information overload, right? Not. Communication skills at an all-time low. That's what's going on. Human interaction has almost decreased on a level of a touchy-feely level and went to an aesthetic level where it's numbing, where it's through a picture through the internet. People get their feelings tantalized through a picture on the internet, not the face to face looking someone staring them in their soul, in their eyes, correct? Because if that's the case, then that's why we got to have the workshops. That's why you can't stay on the internet. That's why you can't just sit on the internet. You got to go meet people face to face. You got to shake their hand. You got to see their aura. You got to see their energy. The age of information overload says, I don't know how to read an oral trust, Christian. I can't see people's auras around their head. I don't see the halo. Okay. Age of information overload says there's information out there that says you can learn how to read the halos. So on the internet, right? Just like everything else, right? Isn't it just like trust information on YouTube, right? Right. Trust Christian, know nothing, control everything. Christian at trustchristian.com is the email to reach out to. Feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button if you haven't already. Feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. Always appreciate people hitting the likes and the subscribe button as trustees or anyone else in the chat or listening live in the replay. Uh, Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely want to drop some new bombs on everybody at the vault. When we talk about where we are at the vault right now, we're working on doing our next workshop this year. We're just trying to give trustees a quality amount of time right now. So we're looking at more like a September, October date for the next trustee training workshop. At the same time, we're looking to continue to move forward with the trustee trainings because trustees get a lot of value out of it. And this has just been the best year by far. Especially when you get trustees generating capital. Trustees always need to be, growing their equitable shares, their equitable stake, and that's the biggest thing when we talk about it. A lot of times, a lot of people say, "Well, okay, I'm going to get going into private, but how am I going to be able to, grow equitable positions and things of that nature?" And so, this year has just been an incredible year with a slew of people from 2020 to up until now, where they've just said we're going to transition into private, which that means they said they were going to go and get in 25,000 feet, and they're going to start flying at 25,000 feet in the air, and be in higher, and in turn, these people have literally grown their equitable position, and we're really happy to see that. Obviously you want to see results, so when you see results with trustees growing their equitable shares, that's the most important thing. Trustees growing obviously their equitable shares as trustees, not in an ownership position position, but from the control position, and really seeing that manifest, for generations to come, and really just continuously putting the management tools in place. You got to have the management system, a software system in place. So when we talk about the information overload, the way you control your time is by having a virtual assistant. The way you control your time is by having a calendar where people select the time to speak with you. This is how you minimize those broken conversations, whether it's through a text message and you're doing something, you're not able to get back to it. It's that simple. Being able to communicate business a lot of times does require that personal touch, even still in a high-tech world. We've never forgot that. We think that the ones that were born into the computer, they completely are out of touch almost with that face-to-face interaction, whereas the ones that were born without the computer, they're able to take that transition and still hold on to it. Whereas the ones that were born with the computer and only the computer, and we're talking about like you guys are hardcore cell phone people, getting in reality and getting with not virtual reality, but getting in reality with people, in touch with people face to face. It matters in the relationship when we talk about the age of information overload. Getting in front of people face to face, investors, is always going to help. You can never pitch. It's almost like, can you pitch an investor and not be there? Well, look, at that point, that means you have a rock solid relationship. But when you get in front of certain investors, you're definitely going to have to pitch them face to face. They want to see your face. They want to see your energy. They want to hit you with questions. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.